Sup everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I know for the most part people don't really need me to spell this out for you, but for those who are truly in the dark and are curious, wondering, should you pick up Yoimiya? Is this a good idea? Now, you're gonna scroll down, you're gonna find comments saying, oh, just pull for who you like. And I know most likely if you're still watching at this point, you like Yoimiya, right? But you also like Tighnari. You also like a ton of the characters shown in the Sumeru teaser. What now? Can you really put a finger on whether you like Yoimiya more or someone like Tighnari or a potential rerun in the future down the line? Let's say you're looking at leaks and you know a character is coming very soon that you also like very much and you would love to have that character, but you also love Yoimiya. What then, right? Are those people who are just commenting pull for who you like, can they truly answer your questions? Today, I hope to achieve that by telling you the pros of Yoimiya, because at this point, I've made a couple videos and I've highlighted the cons of pulling for Yoimiya. If you are somebody who is on the fence, I suggest you watch both videos because I'm covering different topics here. Without further ado, let's just get right into the meat of the video. When we're talking about Yoimiya, I do believe we can all agree that she is an on-field DPS. She's meant to do damage, and the kind of damage she does, let's just say, is very isolated. In fact, I would even put an emphasis on that isolation because she is a single target DPS. And for the people who are newer to the game, what that really means is she pretty much hits one enemy at a time. And for those who are smart, you guys would quickly realize that, okay, so she's like a boss killer, right? Like she, for the most part, in Genshin, when you're fighting bosses, they don't really have minions spawn around them for the most part. And in that case, Yoimiya is a splendid option. In fact, I would say she takes the cake for arguably the best single target DPS when she is fully invested in. I'm talking C6, R5, the whole spiel, right? If you want to build her vertically, just know the headroom, it's really high, really up there. And as you continue to build Yoimiya, I would say even when you get her to C6, it doesn't matter if you're single target or fighting groups of mobs, she's gonna mow them all down regardless because she's just dealing an insane amount of damage, like 2-3 hits per enemy. It's wild, all right? She's a great character at C6, but we're talking about C0 because for the most part, nobody watching this is gonna go beyond like C1 or C2, all right? Most of you guys are gonna stop at either C0, C1, or C2. Here is the strength for Yoimiya. For boss killing, she is great synergistically with Vaporize as well as Overload. I wouldn't really suggest playing Overload too much when you're fighting against mob groups. Then again, why would you be really utilizing Yoimiya in mob groups? Currently, in the Spiral Abyss, and as you guys will see, Yoimiya's playstyle is heavily favored in the second chamber where you are able to deal with these boss mobs in like it's essentially a 1v1 situation. Well, I know it's a 4v1 situation, but one character at a time on the field. Now, the next question you guys may have is, well, is my account adequate enough to build Yoimiya, right? What kind of units would she synergize well with? What are the priorities when it comes to her team compositions? That's a great question, and personally, this is truly honestly my personal opinion, all right? Don't go taking this out of context and say like, oh, you know, it's my opinion. And the first thing you need to get down is your Hydro off-field DPS. Now, there's two options here. You got Xingqiu and you got Yelan. If you have any of these characters built to any degree, you know, you got the first piece done. Second most important piece is gonna be a shielder. A shielder that I'm talking like can make you feel at ease. Like I'm talking when that shield is on you, you feel like you can tank a nuclear strike. Because if your shield is not at least capable of tanking some of the strongest hit in the game without breaking, then it's not good enough. When it comes to Yoimiya's DPS windows, you have to use her elemental skill to infuse her auto attacks. And what that means is if you were to switch off of her, think of this much like Zhao's burst skill. She loses that infusion. And for a skill that has only a 10-second duration for an 18-second cooldown, that's an 8-second downtime even if you are fully utilizing her 10-second duration. And let's say if you were to cut that short by 4 seconds and you only get 6-second infusion window, that leaves you with a 12-second downtime. And you guys might be like, oh, what's the big deal, right? Like, but listen, for the most part, the teams that are constructed for Yoimiya is meant for her to be primarily on field doing damage, while there's an off-field support DPS in either Xingqiu or Yelan. Neither of these characters, especially at lower constellations, can stay on the field and deal meaningful damage. So if you're not fully utilizing Yoimiya's infusion window and you're like cutting it short every single time to reshield, or else you're gonna die, or you end up running in circles and you're not really attacking anyways, you're really defeating the purpose of even running a Yoimiya comp. Yoimiya is somebody who should take full advantage of her support rosters and deal uninterrupted damage for that 10-second infusion duration. And for this very reason, the second most important piece of the puzzle in her composition is going to be that shielder, that character that's going to keep you on field for 10 seconds. I don't care what is coming towards you. 10 seconds. Yoimiya very rarely dodges. She just stands there and auto attacks. She face tanks everything with the shield on. So you're going to tell me if you're going to run Toma, Zhenyan, you're going to run Diona, or just Yunjin Crystallize, those shields better be able to last you a full 10 seconds without you needing to reshield. And in the case of some Geo characters, if you want to run Crystallize with her and you're wondering, well, will Crystallize work? I can just consistently run Crystallize and not need to turn off and reshield, right? So maybe I can run Albedo? Yes and no, because if you run Albedo, let's just say, the shields will drop at the point of the Crystallize reaction impact, meaning it's always gonna drop next to the mobs. What do you think is going to happen if you are attacking with her getting further and further away from the enemy, and then suddenly you run out of shield, and now you're going to need to run into the enemy to grab that crystallized shield and then continue attacking again? Does that seem like a realistic scenario to be partaking in? So for the people who do have a strong shielder, I don't care who it is, if you are confident your shielding character can keep Yoimiya on field for 10 seconds, have her face tank any sort of damage, that's going to be good enough. So people who have a really well-built Diona, a really well-built Toma, and in some cases, if you think your Xinyan's shield can endure Abyss 12 bosses, 2 to 3 hits from those Abyss 12 level 100 bosses, hey, then your Xinyan is good as well. For the most part, people do run Zhongli with her, and that's for 2 reasons. Because right now, one of her better teams is if you are able to pair her with either Xingqiu or Yelan, and then you pair her with Yunjin and Zhongli, giving her that double Geo buff. And here's the really important part. You will realize there's no healer in this team, and that's because Zhongli's shield is potent enough to allow Yoimiya to stay on field and to tank almost all the damage in the current iterations of the Abyss without needing a healer whatsoever. And Zhongli's shield is the only one that's reliable enough to survive all the meta iterations. Whereas, let's say if you were to run a Diona shield, it has increased resistances against cryo, but let's say if a pyro attack comes towards you or something, you're still gonna get your ass clapped relatively quickly. But you know, Zhongli's shield is widely regarded as the best shield in the game, with increased resistance against all elemental typings while decreasing enemy resistances to all elemental attacks. Therefore, it's highly advised if you want to pick up Yoimiya, you do have a Zhongli. If not, it's not the end of the world, but just know it's going to be a little bit more difficult to make her have that unconditional damage dealing environment. Now, the final piece of the puzzle really, I don't think it's that important. It could be anybody, to be honest with you. It can be Bennett, it could be Yunjin, it could be Albedo, GOMC, it could be Beidou. Let's say you don't have Zhongli, right? So you can run Yoimiya, you can run Yelan, or you can run Xingqiu, and then you can run Bennett, and then the fourth one could be a Beidou, because Beidou does offer that shield, and then Bennett gives you that healing. And we all know that the shield most likely won't be enough, but because Bennett is there, you can also get double pyro as well as a somewhat durable shield in the form of Beidou, and you get to do Vaporize as well as Overload, commonly known as Vape Load. It's quite the good team that a lot of people do recommend, but personally, I find it to be just a little inconsistent. Well, I guess it really depends on how well your Beidou is performing. But what I have found is that for the most part, if you want Yoimiya to do well, if you have a Zhongli could be like like level 70 or 80 to be quite honest with you, and his shield is still going to be potent enough even at C0, whereas your Beidou probably has to be like level 80, level 90, pretty cracked out to be able to stand up and add value to the team. Furthermore, if you're running Zhongli and you are still worried about the shield breaking, you can always run Bolide on Yoimiya. To be honest with you guys, Bolide is surprisingly a good set that people can run on her, and it also allows Yoimiya then to access her burst skill, because if you're running the Shimenawa set, it essentially kind of locks her burst skill down, because if you were to switch into her and then you use her elemental skill and then you try to use her burst, well, because the Shimenawa piece took effect, it took 15 energy from your burst skill and now you don't have enough. And if you were to then get the burst back and then you use your burst, the next time you come back to Yoimiya to use the elemental skill, you won't be able to proc the Shimenawa set effect. It's like a lose-lose situation. You basically have to lock away your burst skill in exchange for more power in your auto attacks, and a lot of people do have really cracked out Shimenawa sets, so that's what most people are going to be running. I'll be honest with you guys, I don't think most people are going to have even half decent Bolide set, but Bolide offers a more complete way to play Yoimiya's kit, especially for people who have higher constellations of Yoimiya. They're definitely going to likely want to lean towards the Bolide set, and it also can be a way to strengthen the shield of non-Zhongli units that are being used to support her. So if you do have a great Bolide set, that's also another reason to consider Yoimiya. At the end of the day, I think a lot of people want to hear me say that Yoimiya is a good unit, and I do think she is, but what I also think is that she is a rather conditional unit, because not every fight in Genshin is going to be a boss fight. And let's say if you're fighting one of those Electro Sinsen mages, oftentimes she's going to start shooting those little electro butterflies. The auto targeting system in this game is not good, and there's no mob priority. It really is whatever the auto targeting system is feeling in the moment. So Yoimiya is going to fall short in some cases, but when it comes to bossing, I do think she is one of the best, if not top 3 in the game currently for dealing with bosses. With that being said, I thank you guys for watching all the way to the end of the video. I know maybe in some parts it's not what you wanted to hear, but it's my honest truth and I just want what's best for you. I suggest you cross-reference this with a lot of other people's opinion and reach a conclusion for yourself as to whether or not you think Yoimiya is going to be a worthwhile pickup or not. My name is EroticWalruss. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Till then, urge y'all to stay safe and peace.